What is up, everyone? This is Saul with another video, and today we're going to take a look at what is new with housing, namely, and we're doing some kind of semi-live reactions, but we're recording them. We're going to see what happens when we click on Blood Elf House, and we get... very nice. Please like the video, subscribe for more stuff, and we're going to just do some exploring and clicking and seeing what is what. So there is going to be a medium and large at some point, but we're just taking a look at the small sizes, at least for now, because, well, I guess my level just isn't all that great. So let's start off with the bottom here. So what can we mess around with? There is a lot of stuff we can mess with here, such as adding some pretty grand windows here on the side. Here, let me add, okay, that's moving the door, of course. But let's change this in, not look at the entryways. I just want to look at the windows right now. So we have these kinds of windows of different colors of sorts. Okay. So we have flatter looking windows, things that are a bit more discreet. We have cute little planters with which to lay down, like, some overgrowth if we wanted to add a little bit more to it. Now this is nice. Adding a little bit more of a fixture there. I'm going to go ahead and leave that aside while we took a look at some of the other stuff. So here we have, we were looking at winged windows, I believe, now. Okay. And here we have a side chimney. Oh, hey, I kind of like that. So we have a bell sort of chimney. Let me zoom out a little bit. We have an extravagant chimney, a regal chimney that like super clips. I'll be curious to see how we mess around with that. A winged chimney, which also clips through, and a sturdy winged chimney and a winged. Okay, so one's nice and thick and girthy. The other one is like, pretty small. All right. So now we have the entryways that we'll edit. So we'll start from the top here and take a look at the. That's not going to work. Let's try going here. All right, so we have the elegant entryways, which I believe we're looking at. We'll just take one more look at this. Okay. And what about the grand entryway? I think the elegant one looks cooler than the grand one so far. Yeah, a little bit more humbly and obviously more elegant-y, right? Okay, so there's the grand entryway. And then there's a simple one. Okay. So we can kind of like trim this down kind of considerably and make something that's a little bit flatter. Let's take away the little chimney guy over here. All right. So we have this simple entryway, and then we have, it looks like it's just those three. So we have the elegant, the grand, and the simple entryway of like the same color of sorts. Not bad. Pretty easy to skin. Although it is pretty sizable, it's very round compared to the, Alliance houses. They've been kind of squarish, and don't worry, we're going to be taking a look at the Night Elf one a little bit later. But here's kind of the, kind of the possibilities that we can create if we wanted to, make a really cool front-facing sort of dealie. We'll have like multiple chimneys going on. Let me get like an extravagant chimney here on the side. And we'll do like another one for like the heck of it. Now, these seem to be like the same color, at least at the moment. We'll take a look at the other color selections, but I just want to take a look at the different sorts of infrastructure first. So let's see what's going on up top, starting with at the very top, the very middle with the spires. Oh, damn. We're getting pretty excessive here. And then keep in mind, of course, we can suspend these up into the air and create even wilder creations. So we have like these different colors, of course. But let's take a look at the other spire. So this is the elegant spire, and now here's the faceted spire, which is a little bit more of a nubby, right? Well, gotta give it respect. And then we have the simple spire. Oh, that's not that simple. It's huge. It's simple, but like, not little nubby like the faceted one. And then we have the sturdy spire, with kind of the ribbed roof. I have no idea how to pronounce to no way to describe it. And then we have the tiered spire, so a platform of sorts. There doesn't seem to be any other additional things we can add to it, but then we could always add whatever the heck we want on our own too. Very cool. You know, so we can have like something like you know, a big old chimney here, and well, like another one and another one. Yeah, this is how industrial elves look, I suppose. That's pretty crazy. Now let's see what's on these other fixtures here. Like, how much crazier can this get? So we have dormers, windows, and more spires, apparently. Okay, so let's take a look at each kind of thing. So here is the domed dormer. Okay. We'll move on to the next thing. We'll go with the elegant dormer. We'll just kind of change the color here. So, you know, a nice little window, a happy window. Now let's see. Let's make some clipping happen. All right. Let's put on the regal dormer, which is not so different from the other one. Okay. Let's go with what is next. We have spires now. Okay, so let's do it. Plum. Oh, baby. Ooh. That just kind of overwhelmed what happened to be here. Okay. So that's a thing. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's the elegant spire. Here's the faceted spire. Okay, so we're basically taking like these things and then just like kind of supercharging them, right? Totally overtaking them. So that was the passive. So now we'll try out the simple spire, which should be like a tall guy. So there's that. Man, look how crazy this thing can get. And then we have you know, and then here's the tiered spire. That's the other one. That's the one that is this one right here. So here's that one. Oh man. These things are crazy. This is huge. This is absolutely ginormous. So let's let me do another thing. Yeah, let me change this fixture instead of the chimney or whatever. Let's just go with like another big spire right there. And then there's this other fixture here, which I believe is that. But let's see what happens when I change this. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and I don't know what this is doing here. This is just kind of like lost. It's just like, oh, hey, what about me? Oh, it's actually above the door. So we can't really have like the same sort of thing, because if we did, it would take away the door, which might be a bug. So if we hit this and we do like a simple spire, boom, there we go. And the door is gone. There's no way inside the home anymore. Good going. So we'll just put the entrance right there. Nice and elegant. Okay, so while we can't edit everything as in like the size, I want to be able to like see what kinds of sizes are available. Let's see what is going on with the base, or you know, with these other styles here. So base styles, there's engraved, arches, and craftsman. So we select arches, and something happened. Something happened. So I think okay, I think I should like take some stuff out. I think we're kind of obscuring things here. So I guess I'll leave that selected, I guess, and I'll go to base style and I'll change this once again from engraved to arches. So let's look at what the difference is, because it's a little hard for me to tell. Okay, oh, here we go. So this is changing the walls surrounding the place. So we're not changing these outside structures here, simply like what's going on here. So engraved, there's that, and then arches, there's this. So let's see if there's any other differences that we can tell here. So it doesn't look like there's anything too crazy going on. Yeah, so engraved, arches, and then what is craftsman? Okay, so now we have like a little bit of a wood base happening here when we do that. So once again, just to make sure, this is checking for me too. So engraved, then arches, and finally craftsman. So it doesn't change. It only really changes this upper trim right over here. Okay, so for the roof style, let's see how this messes with the top here. So we start off with a domed roof, that's the default, and then the faceted roof. So yeah, we do see it change. So, and it just kind of removed everything. So you want to be careful with doing this. So here's the domed one. Here is the faceted roof. So, okay, so we add this kind of second landing over here, right? And that's why I think we saw, like in some cases where we saw a little bit of clipping, maybe this is supposed to make it seem like not as bad. But let's take a look at this tiered roof. So just got taller. So it kind of replaces that whole center area, but we can still, of course, add any of these like crazy things right on the side or up top. So if we wanted to like change this to something up top here, cool. Forget the clipping, who cares? Not a big deal. So let's change the roof style one more time. Actually, I'll change it again, so it just kind of like resets a whole bunch of stuff, which makes it kind of okay. And then finally we have the roof color. So we have these different colors to choose from: plum, charcoal, emerald, ocean. It's a little hard to see because of the lighting here. And then sapphire. So we can change some of these things, and of course we'd want to customize this to preferably match into something that will go together. So ocean on ocean, there we go. But then we still have like this red trim, which I suppose is for the most part meant to be very in character for the blood elf identities. Like no matter what, you're still going to be sort of stuck with something like that. Now we can kind of change these things and try to obscure it with like other stuff, and then include other colors if we wanted to create a different sort of vibe, if we can manage to hide those trims. But still, a lot going on with all this stuff. It's pretty crazy, pretty wild. For those who have been in beta and have looked at Silvermoon City, they've seen that the city's really big. And there's clearly some compensation happening. Look at this place, man. Sheesh. This is wild. It's so big. How am I supposed to edit this guy? So let's see how it looks up in here. So we have a bottom to it. Whoop-de-doo. So they added a butt. Appreciate it. Well, they added most of the butt. I think they still need to add like a little bit more here, so that way we can make it all fit nice and flush. But wow, look at this thing. This thing is truly excessive in like such a cool way, though. We have our own little Silvermoon City. I was thinking it was going to be like something a little bit less crazy, quite a bit more modest. But no, we're just gonna have a little jumping puzzle like right over here. Wow, jeez, I'm gonna die just jumping off of this spot. Really cool, really neat. I like it. All right, so now we get to take a look at Kaldarai, or Night Elf housing, which is it looks like it takes up a bit of a bigger footprint than the human house. Let's let this thing load up. Yeah, it takes up a slightly wider footprint than the human house does. So like there it is, it's kind of like sticking out right over there. But it's cool, it has like this kind of lodge sort of feel, although it's a little bit thinner. Usually you'll have like a bit wider of a wingspan, I guess we'll call it. But let's take a look at what's going on, starting with the door. So we have these embellished entryways, right, of like different colors. Oh, and it only edits like that part too. I was hoping I can move like this entire section here. Okay, so we have the embellished entryways, and then we have this rustic entryway, kind of a druidy sort of feel, very cool. And then this woodland entryway, with the tiled roof and everything, very nice. Just real quick, there might be some lag here. There's a lot of lag going on the Alliance neighborhood servers because, well, for the Horde, I suppose. Hey, doors can't be removed. Okay. So we have like these sorts of things. Now, can I move the entrance here? So I'm just gonna kind of play with the selections here while we sort of explore and see what it is we can do. So we can, we have these windows. Cool. All these windows can be added here, and we have like these different types. It doesn't seem like we have like different colors here at the moment, but then here I'm gonna suspect we can at least move the entryway. So let's see like how much of this ends up moving, and we end up moving just this part. Interesting. So we have like this kind of like set section here with which we can add what? We can add entryways or windows to kind of fill out the spots. Although it's kind of odd because it's a little bit off center. And maybe we should have like 2 hooks with which to put like multiple windows if we wanted to. Because otherwise we're a little bit limited on what we can have. Although I like this lattice window. That looks good, dude. Just pump it full of that. And like I'm gonna feel kind of good with this selection here. Let me see if I can change that. Doesn't want to change. Oh no. It's either being stubborn or it's the lag that's talking. I think it's the lag that's talking. Okay, so we'll hope that this catches up or gets that we get caught up with it soon. But yeah, cool windows. I like the vibe of this. It has this really soft glow to it, which I love. Yeah, so it looks like these had finally changed. Okay, so let's see what's going on up top here. So this entrance, it's either going to go in the back or the front. So we'll have to just kind of contend with that. But now let's take a look at the kinds of window options available. So we're starting off with these dormers over here to the side, and I'm just going to kind of cycle through the different options here. So there's this relic dormer, sorry. And I think we're able to select it and hit it, but I think we're running into quite a bit of lag. We'll just have to see if that happens to change. So here we have, yeah, there we go. So here we have like kind of the same things, these dormers. So we kind of know what we're talking about there. We'll leave those alone, leave that alone. But here, now we have these chimneys to contend with. So we have an embellished chimney. And I'll go ahead and, okay, I guess I'll go ahead and let that load up while we look at some of these other things. There's this relic chimney. We'll go ahead and select that. And then here we have, now we have a single tower to work with. So we have a tower there. So here are the chimneys that we were talking about, which are, kind of wild. I don't think I can really sneak inside something like that, but that's okay. But here we have other kinds of chimneys. So this was the relic chimney. And now let's go and check the other option. So we have this rustic chimney. Okay, cool. Really filling out huge beams of wood. So let's check out this tall relic chimney. Oh, but it's like it's a thin little guy. All right. So there's that tall relic. And now we have the woodland chimney. We'll go ahead and let that thing, I guess, kind of load up. And so now here we have same things. We have like these sorts of windows. Okay, and here's the other chimney. That's kind of not really much of a chimney. My impression of chimney is that stuff comes out, smoke and all that. You can kind of see it here, but I don't quite see it the same way here. But now we have the single tower, one spot. Not quite the spires that we've seen for the Blood Elf folk. But let's see what kind of options we have. We have this embellished stone tower. And unfortunately, we'll have to kind of wait as the loading and the lag, we just kind of try to get over that. So, this got thick real fast, right? So we can kind of like make our way in and kind of fly our way in there. I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and take these guys out. So let me undo that and undo this. So we'll let those things eventually go away. So now here's the stone tower. You can see it in all its glory. All right. So now we have the embellished tower. Let me choose a different color for the sake of our entertainment. Let that thing go. I'm very curious to see like how the roof style will change here and how this will alter some of the options right over here. I think we're still waiting. Oh, there we go. So this is the embellished tower. So it's closed off. But this does a good job of of branding. Like we can have a really cool channel logo. Just kidding. We have where we want, banners, all sorts of stuff. So very interesting that they set up kind of a blank space over here with which to, put in whatever we feel like. So let's, oh, wow, that was a very fast response. So we have the rustic tower. Once again, leaves lots of room for like the branding here on the side. And then we have the stone tower, which needs to load. Actually, we have a lot of towers. Or we can have the chimneys. as we saw before. So if we want to have that style instead, or of course none at all, that's fine too. So I believe this is so we have the stone tower and the woodland tower left to look at. We'll wait for this guy to change here. Meanwhile, I believe this was, these were dormers. These were just like windows. So we'll go ahead and plop some stuff down over there. Let that thing play as we wait for the rest of the stuff to populate. Right here are the chimneys once again. If we wanted to add a little something there. And here we have the stone tower. Oh, that's very cool. I like this effect that's happening here. But now let's let this go to the woodland tower. And here's the woodland tower. So very similar vibe to the stone tower. You have a cool little glowy accent there on the side, and even more room, even more space. You can put a little QR code if you really wanted to. Don't do that. Probably get in trouble there. But now let's take a look real quick at the base styles and see what sorts of things can be altered here. So we have this embellished look that's on by default. Let's change this to stone, and check that. That's a big change. That's a very dramatic change compared to the night elf. I'm sorry, to the blood elf accents. So let me change this again. So here we are with the embellished. Here we have with the stone, something a bit more plain, kind of and very natural looking. A lot of things we can build into this, like rocks and what have you. That would be very cool. Or like having trees that are kind of like fused in with the house. That's very possible. And then finally we have this woodland one, which again, this kind of makes me think of the makes me think of the stone one. Even though we have stone walls, things are just kind of built together. Things look a bit natural. And in this case, we have, the heavy stone rock. So we can definitely pull off the whole, hey, I'm going to levitate this place and, have it sit on something. And we can definitely pull off a disconnect. That's great. So I only have a few minutes before I possibly disconnect or run into some sort of grievous error. So we're going to very quickly look at the roof. So we start off with the woodland roof. This is what we got so far, and I'm going to guess that switching roofs will kind of undo or change a whole bunch of these settings. So let's cross our fingers, and there we go. All right, so this is a more traditional look that we've seen from like night elf housing, and then it looks like we still have like the towers that we can set up here. Chimneys and whatnot, those look like they look like the same options. So we just have like the one tower over here, okay? And then finally we look at the embellished roof. Let's see if we can pull this off or not. Okay, we're gonna be really fast now. So we're gonna go through the roofs. Okay, so here's the embellished roof. So this is the default. We've seen the woodland roof. Okay, and then finally we have this rustic roof. Okay, actually this is what we were looking at before. So this is the rustic roof. Same options though. Those don't seem to change when we go from one thing to the next. It looks like we're just kind of stuck with this initial configuration. And then we have the 6 colors to choose from for the roof, of course. And then, these are the same options that we would see with the options here. So I kind of feel like the options with the night elf housing, like they're great and all. It's very in character, but they seem a little limited. And maybe it's because we've seen a lot of different kind of night elven architecture. So maybe there's a little bit of hamstringing on the design. Whereas with the Silver Moon stuff, that's always been like pretty darn limited. In scope, we would see like little domes and tents here and there, and while that we're seeing the same, we're seeing a lot of the same of that with the blood elf housing. It's just a lot more variety, and of course the scale and scope of it is just, I don't know. It's a lot more gaudy. There's just a lot more to it, and I don't think I took a look at this. I didn't take a great look at this woodland base. This is the one where we can like set a whole bunch of rocks and pull off that sort of like floating house vibe if you wanted to make it look a little bit better, because it'll just flow really well. Although you don't even really need to do that either. I think this housing looks great. I'm really enjoying how these are looking so far, and it has me really excited to see what other racial houses are going to look like in the future. Now, of course, small concern that I have, and looks like the lag is gone now, whoop-de-doo. Small concern that I have is how long is it going to take to get some of the other housing? Because it's definitely going to be a while. And I also got a side comment on this. I'm a little bit thrown off with having this section here. Like, I guess it's okay if it doesn't move because you could just rotate the whole house and that would achieve the same effect. But part of me would like the entrance to be like, you know, here on the side or something like that as well. So it seems a little bit limited compared to the human housing, where human housing, you can have the entrance here on the side or flanking either spot here, but you have like this badonkadonk just kind of like stuck in the back here. Like that's always going to be like at one spot or the other, you know, and so you're always going to, this is either going to be, you know, right up here or right in the back at the tail end. So very impressive so far though. I'm liking the vibe. I'm liking the feel of it. And of course, we could always do whatever we want with this, skin it however we like, replace it, and do whatever we want. The blood off one is clearly like just massive though. You can't really skin that. You'd be better off working with the orc housing, I think. Yeah, but we may have to do like a side-by-side comparison at some point and get a gauge of it. But in the meantime, this is what we got for housing. And this is what we should expect for launch, which could be the pre-patch. It might be the official launch. We'll just have to kind of wait and see like how you know, how they're going to deploy that. So what do you guys think of the housing types and the options? Let us know in the comment below. Please like the video, subscribe for more stuff. Catch me live and I'll catch you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.